Hey there, gardeners. This is Mila Fournier with your next installment of the COVID Victory Garden. So I'm here on the dining room floor where I've got my seed starting set up. So I wanted to show you, give you a tour of how that works and talk a little bit about those little seeds that are growing. So here I just have these kind of wire racks. They're balanced just so on top of my radiator, which is kind of cool because it gives these seed trays here a little extra warmth. I've got some grow lights set up just a couple of inches above my trays. And for seed starting, you can use anything. You can use yogurt cups, you can use, old milk gardens, you can use little peat pots, you can use things like this, which are grown trays, and inserts, cell inserts. The one thing I'd say don't use egg cartons. I know there's all those little cute things on Pinterest about using egg cartons, but they don't give enough soil volume for your little seeds. That's my one thing against egg cartons. So I'm going to give you a little tour of what's happening here in my little seedling world. So I'm going to pull it away from the light a little bit so you can see. These are some of the things I planted in these trays when we talked last. And what I think is super cool about them, here I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna move around a little bit where the light's a little more even, and you can see these seeds up close and personal. Now, one of my favorite things about growing seedlings is how variable they are and how cool they are. So I want you to take a quick look. Let's focus right there. Can we do that? Maybe not. Okay, so I want you to see just how different all these seeds are from each other. So over here, just barely popping up. You can just barely make them out. Those are poppy seeds. This next tray, this is a little bit bigger right there. You're looking at seeds for some 4 o'clocks. These are a little bit bigger. Not by much, also poppy seeds. This one's a pretty good size. Oh wait, that's the 4 o'clock. What was this one? Oh, that's the salvia. Okay, so this is a 4 o'clock. Over here, this big guy, that's an ornamental sunflower. Over here, some more teeny tiny poppies. Let's see, oh, these, can you see those really little guys there? They're hard to see because they're kind of like a purplish green. Pretty small. Especially compared to something like this. Those are basil. These tall leggy guys, they are my first ones to come up, which is why they're kind of so tall. They've been reaching for light. These are cosmos. This has nothing up in this row yet. These are a Gaillardia, and that one's just going to take a little while to break dormancy. Over here, we've got, again, some little guys. This is mignonette, which is also known as the bee's friend. Again, more of these tall, leggy cosmos, and these gigantic moonflowers. This is actually all part of my black and white garden, so these are all things that either bloom white or bloom kind of a dark purpley black. But what I wanted you to see here more than anything else is the huge variation that you get, mostly in relation to the size of the seeds. So this thing is pretty huge for a little seedling, but the seed itself was also pretty huge. So you see that thing at the end here? That's actually the seed coat. So when we put this in the ground, in the soil, it had this little hard seed coat in it, and this leaf in here, that was what was tight up inside that seed coat. And when we added water and warmth, we activated it to start growing, and so that begins to unfurl and break open that seed coat. So this one, you don't see that on the end there, that was able to break through its seed coat pretty easily, and the seed coat's probably still underneath there somewhere. This one over here didn't quite break out of its seed coat, but that's just going to drop off pretty soon. And also, I'm not so worried about those because those are the cotyledons. So the cotyledons are the two kind of starting leaves that are inside a seed. So what you have is any of these seed packets usually have a couple of leaves inside of them. See these? Those are in pairs of leaves. This, as soon as it finishes opening up, will be a pair of leaves. This right here is a pair. Right there, you've got a pair. Even these little tiny ones, you've got a pair of leaves. So a lot of the things that you're going to be growing have a pair of leaves. A few things don't. Things that are in the grass family don't. Corn doesn't. But almost everything else that you're going to be growing for your kind of beginning home garden will have a pair of leaves. So that's what's inside that seed packet, just waiting to be activated into growing. So all of these are still in their really early infancy. Right here, this is the very first one. Let's see if it'll focus there. Where you can begin to see two more little leaves start to grow from that center. Those are what are called the true leaves. So these aren't considered true leaves. These are actually kind of like pre-packaged inside that seed. Those true leaves are the very first leaves that plant is growing on its own because it's photosynthesizing. So it's taking light and turning it into sugars so it can grow and make more of itself. Right now, all I have to do to care for most of my seedlings is just make sure they're evenly watered, just plain water. Once they begin to have a second set of leaves, so those are the first set of true leaves, once they have their true leaves, I'm going to start feeding these guys with a little bit of fertilizer. If you remember when we first started this, I tend to use a fairly kind of low nutrient seed starting mix. And what that means is it's a pretty neutral thing for the seeds to grow in, but once they start to get a little bigger, they're going to need better nutrients than what this can provide. And I usually do that through an organic liquid-based nutrient solution. So I just went to Agway, my local store. You can go to your own local store. I called them and I said, hey, I need some of my organic liquid fertilizer for my seed starts. And they said, great. And I handed them a credit card number and they came to my car and gave me a bottle. And so that stuff I'll mix with water and I'll bottom water these. So I hope your seedlings are doing as well as mine. I hope your laundry pile is not as big as mine. And I hope you guys are gardening and exploring and learning to love your new seedlings. Have a great day. Bye.